It's time for a little comedy, a little content, and a lot of conversation. It's the Geno Jones Show, exclusively right here on YouTube. Now here's your host, Geno Jones.
Hey, it's showtime. What's happening, everybody? I hope you had a great weekend of the Geno Jones Show. Bam! I come to you live Monday through Friday, 6:30 p.m. here on the East Coast in the Charleston, South Carolina, in the Carolinas. Charleston, South Carolina Metro. But we rocking the whole Carolinas. Hey, if you're in Chicago, it's 5:30. If you're out on the West Coast, out in L.A., or maybe up in Portland or Seattle, or in the Bay Area where my guest, R&B music icon, legend, I believe he's in the Bay Area, somewhere on the West Coast. He's got a brand new single called It's All Right. The man that brought you Timex Social Club and Club Nouveau and all of the joints from back in the day. He's talk to Jay King, talk about his new music, talk about everything he's got going on. All right, speaking of this, since we're talking about music, let's go straight for the jugular. So the Grammy Awards last night, shout out to Harvey Mason Jr. Listen, from a production standpoint, you did a phenomenal job. I just thought it was really well done production-wise. However, I do have one main issue. We'll get into that later. Shout out Kirk Franklin. He opened the doors of the church, performing All Things, and then Fantasia. Oh my God. Fantasia, my sister, shut it down. Her tribute to Tina Turner. Man, she did Proud Mary. Even Tina Turner would have been like, was probably up among the ancestors up in heaven, was like, girl, you singing my song. And by the way, for those who don't know, song title is Proud Mary. It's not rolling down the river. No, that's not the name of the song. It's Proud Mary. Because some of y'all are a little confused with that. So I just wanted to set the record straight. Shout out, speaking of two, to our forever First Lady, Michelle Obama, won her second Grammy. This one was for her audiobook, The Light We Carry On. Congratulations, forever First Lady Michelle Obama. Now, all right, got one issue. Not little, kind of big issue. So, not airing the rap category at all, CBS. And look, so I can't blame Harvey Mason Jr. because at the end of the day, he is not the CEO of CBS. He's not. So, but I'm just saying, if you're going to do it, don't half-ass do it. I mean, you know, hip-hop and rap is like number one, number two, or three, depending on what chart you look at in terms of like sales, the top sales by musical genre in 2023, and hip hop and rap was right near the top or at the top, either two or three. So I'm just saying, if we're gonna do this, let's do it right. And then somehow, so CBS didn't air any of the rap categories. Killer Mike got the album of, actually all three rap categories. Killer Mike won best rap album and the single and the whole 9 yards. Then the LAPD doing what they do best. Really? Y'all arrest the brother at the, I ain't never heard of, I lived in LA, I don't watch the Grammys, I ain't never heard them arresting nobody. Arresting somebody at the Grammys for a misdemeanor? I guess it was something going on, some kind of I heard some third party physical altercation. Come on, y'all, really? Y'all had to. And then they handcuffed him. Y'all cuffed the brother at the Grammys. The LAPD, not at their finest moment. I lived in LA, so between the LAPD and the LA County Sheriffs, they were on brand. All I'm saying is, I'm not surprised. So, and big shout out to Jay-Z. So he got like the Icon Award, the award they named after Dr. Dre. So shout out to Jay, because Jay-Z kept it 1,000. His acceptance speech, you know, he shouted out and congratulated Dre. I thought that was really, really cool, because two of the greatest, you know, Dre, one of the greatest producers. Of course, Jay, you could say the greatest, one of the greatest, top, whatever you got him on your list, 1, 2, 3, how, definitely would know, unquestionably one of the greatest rappers of all time, if not the greatest. But he kept it real, talking about the Grammys. And he said, listen, to the Grammys and the people that vote on the Grammys, he said, look, y'all, you know, because he talked about how Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince, they boycotted the Grammys way back in the day in the late 70s. Then he boycotted the Grammys, basically standing up for my man DMX. DMX had 2 albums released. I think it was 98, Jay said. Both albums were #1. And DMX didn't even get nominated, let alone win the award. So I thought that was showing some love and respect by Jay. He talked about that. But then he talked about, speaking of love, the love of his life, his wife, Beyonce. Is like, I'm just saying, the greatest, more Grammys. She's got more Grammys than anybody in the history of Grammys. Now think about that. She got more Grammys than Michael Jackson, than Prince, and Stevie Wonder. Or if y'all want to go there, she got more than Elvis or the Beatles. More Grammys than anybody, and was never nominated for Album of the Year. Never won, I should say. She was nominated, but never won Album of the Year. He's just saying, we just want y'all to get it right. And I've been saying I want y'all to get it right because, Jay, listen, that's a long line. Just holler at Michael Jackson if you could, if he was still around. How did Off the Wall, just think about it. I'm just going to end this part of the conversation by saying this. Jay, Off the Wall, arguably definitely one of the greatest R&B albums. There's a significant amount of people that would tell you that from a pure R&B album standpoint, that Off the Wall was better than Thriller. Now, that's a whole different conversation for a different show. They both were phenomenal, but as a matter of fact, we got Thriller because Michael Jackson felt snubbed that he didn't win Album of the Year. And he said, I'm paraphrasing, he had conversations with his mom. You can check it out in his documentaries. He said he was going to make sure that never happened again. And they were definitely, his next album, they were going to recognize him. So the fact that Michael Jackson got snubbed for Off the Wall, not getting Album of the Year, is how we got Thriller. So Michael Jackson's Off the Wall didn't get Album of the Year. Purple Rain didn't win Album of the Year. Now, no shade to Lionel Richie, because 85, he got his album, I think Can't Stop or whatever, but Purple Rain? So, Jay, the Grammys, they got a long history of not getting it right. So, I'm saying, all in all, overall, the performances were phenomenal. So, if you get a chance to watch that, Jay's speech was pretty cool. He brought his daughter up there. He brought Blue Ivy up, and he was like, I'm nervous. And he was holding her hand. He's like, because she's nervous too. And he said, when I'm nervous, I tell the truth. So I guess Beyonce, if Jay ain't nervous and you ask him some questions, he might be lying. Because he just snitched on himself in front of like 100 million people maybe. How many ever they had? 50 million. Millions of people watching globally. Happy birthday today, February 5th. Omarosa Manigault Newman, the Big Nickel, 50 today, reality TV show personality, former political aide. Now, speaking of reality TV, Love and Hip Hop New York's Sydney Star, 35 today. And my man, Bobby Beresford Brown, New Edition, Whitney Houston's ex-husband, her ex. Double nickel, happy 55th birthday to Bobby Brown, and happy heavenly birthday, Trayvon Martin, who was killed by this wannabe cop in Florida. No justice still for Trayvon Martin's killing. Trayvon Martin was born in 1995, so he would have been 29 years old today. And happy heavenly birthday to Henry Louis Aaron, a.k.a. Hank Aaron, a.k.a. the Hammer, the all-time home run king for 33 years. When he passed Babe Ruth's record, Babe Ruth had a career 714 home runs, and then Hank Aaron passed it in the early 70s, and he held on to it till like 2001, and Barry Bonds eventually passed him as the all-time home run king. Hank Aaron, a very dignified man, honorable man, a good man. I had the honor to meet him on an occasion and endured not just hate, death threats. As a matter of fact, Hank Aaron had to have bodyguards with him at all times. When he was like in the dugout, they had like plainclothes police officers. I think even the FBI, they had like undercover cops and agents that would sit around the stadium and near the dugout because people threatened to kill and shoot him with a long distance rifle. He had to endure all that and still broke the record. So happy heavenly birthday to Hank Aaron, born on this day in 1934. He joined the ancestors in 2021. All right, I'm going to bring my guest on. My guest is a musical icon, a legend. Back in the day, Timex Social Club, Club Nouveau, Rumors, Lean on Me. Catalog is extensive. Just had the music industry, really put the music industry on notice and set it on fire. What he's doing, well, guess what? He's still in the game, he's still doing it, and he's got a brand new single called It's All Right. And it's all right, Jay King, my guest. Brother Jay, welcome back to the show. Thank you. It's always a pleasure to have you on, man.
A pleasure to be here.
Congratulations on let's talk about this new single, man. So what's the inspiration behind it?
Well, we make, we tour a lot. We're always on the road. And every year we go on the road, and we're at that precipice where we'll just become a nostalgic act if we don't start putting out new music and build our profile. And so for the next few years, that's what we're going to do. Every 5 or 6 months, we're going to release a new single. This single, It's All Right, was the #1 most added record at R&B radio last week at 18 and we're looking forward to seeing what happens this week. And we're just excited about the response that we're getting from people about it.
So Jay, just talking about the Grammys and just talking about some of the past snubs and just looking at how the evolution of music over the years, like I said, you've been dominating. I mean, to still be relevant, going on 40 years now. What are some of the biggest changes that you've seen, and what is the key to your longevity and keeping you energized and excited about putting out new music and touring?
Well, the way the industry has morphed, where anybody can make a record. You can be 100, make a record, and you can actually put it in the marketplace. And you can have a hit record as a 100-year-old without major labels disrupting you because of digital download, streaming, and because of our ability to interface with our own audience via social media. And those are just 3 pluses that really change the game. For me, when because those things exist, I'm open to the possibility of what can happen. I was talking to somebody the other day, and I said, I just feel like I'm about to be in this very exclusive club that folks like Tina Turner and Marvin Gaye and Carlos Santana and Barry White were in, and others, but where you go decades without a hit record. You have your cluster hit, then you go decades without a hit record. And then your career starts all over again because you get another run. Tina Turner was with Ike and Ike and Tina Turner Review. And then when she broke up from there, it was a decade and a half or so before she released the Private Dancer album and What Love Got to Do with It. And she took off. Marvin Gaye went into exile. And after the I Want You album, the only other big record he had was Live from the London Palladium. Yeah, I got to give it up. But his other records, the Hear My Dear album, the In Our Lifetime, uh, those albums did not do anything. A lot of people said he was gone until he came back with Sexual Healing, and
That's
Marvin
right.
Gaye went through the roof. Uh, it was the 70s when Barry White had his records, and it wasn't until the 90s that he did Practice What You Preach, early 90s,
That's right.
and blew his career up. And then Carlos, again, somebody who went decades without hitting records until he did the Supernatural album and Smooth and all those records. He sold 15 million. So here is Club Nouveau, you know, um, haven't had a charted record since, 92. And
Wow.
here I am in 2024, 32 years later. And today I found out that the record jumped to number 40 on media base after 1 week. So we're pretty excited about it. And if it becomes a top 10 record, I get to join that very exclusive club of decades between records and then starting a career all over. Kind of cool.
So you've seen it in the 80s, the 90s, and here we are, the 2020s. For you,
Yeah.
because you mentioned some of the artists that had hits in multiple eras. For you, what's your
Yeah.
secret sauce to be able to do that? Because everybody, if more people could do it, they would do it.
Well, that's the interesting thing about music. Music, and I don't think people realize or recognize that music iterates every 2 or 3 years. Every 2 to 3 years, music is a whole different beat, a new style, a
Yeah.
new rhythm, a new cadence, a new beat. And if you don't, if you gotta you gotta stay relevant in that, and you gotta stay on top of that. You gotta stay on the pulse of that. That's what makes um, the Taylor Swift and Beyonce so incredible. That they're always like, not only they're on the pulse, sometimes they are the pulse, and other artists struggle while they flourish. So um, just trying to keep up with what music is and not lose my sound. Uh, trying to be me without sounding like a young person or sounding too old and outdated. And so it takes time. You got to really take time to find that thing. And that's what, me and DOA, we set out to make a hit Club Nouveau record that sounded like Club Nouveau, but wasn't going to date us, where it would sound like we were trying to be hip, but but not sound like young people either. So it was trying to find that fine line. I think we did.
Well, for me, when I listen to your music, especially when I think of Lean on Me, I remember when I first heard that. And my head snapped because I remembered like Bill Withers back in the day when my mom played it. So for me, you've always been, especially with the beats musically, like a forward thinking, like out of the box, ahead of the curve, and it's work for you. So
Yeah.
that's always been, was that a goal or did that just happen organically for you?
I mean, nobody, somebody tells you that when they set out to do what they did, that they knew exactly what they were doing, and you got to pull out your BS a little bit. And it's not true. You hope, you think, but you don't know. When Marvin Gaye did uh, uh, not the I Want You album, but his first album,
What's going on?
What's Going On? When he did the What's Going On album, when he did his vocals the way he did them, that was an accident. He was doing one vocal, and he did it one way. Then he told the engineer to go to another track, and he did a second vocal. And then he went to do a third vocal, and when he did the third vocal, the engineer forgot to mute the other two tracks, and they played together. And it was 30 seconds or so before they realized that the tracks were playing together. And then the engineer said, "I'm sorry, man." And Marvin was like, "No, I like it." But then when he got to Berry Gordy said, "I hate it. It's never coming out. You're gonna mess up your career." And it was somebody in the marketing department that heard the record. And when Berry went on vacation, pressed up 100,000 records and put it out anyway. And by the time Barry found out about it, it was the biggest selling single in a shorter period of time that Motown had ever had.
Wow.
And they had to do another 100,000 records, and and then they went on to sell the millions. But that's how it happened. Sometimes you don't know.
Yeah.
I hope, I hope that it works. Even now, you don't pin the needle, hoping that, because I'm 38 years old when you look at me from a group standpoint, you know. So I'm 38 years old in the 4-year-old game. You know what I'm saying? I'm old. And so you got to be a 4-year-old for people to like. I'm 38. And so if you can get people to respond to that, that's a big deal.
You know, it's funny you were telling that story about Marvin Gaye. Now, I heard a somewhat related story to that same album that, like I said, Berry Gordy really didn't want Marvin to do the album the way he did it because it was really, there was a lot going on. It's amazing, though, from a social political standpoint, you could listen to that album and those lyrics would fit right into today on 2024.
No, listen, Barry thought Marvin Gaye was a sex symbol. And he was getting ready to throw his whole sex, because before that album, Marvin isn't singing like that as far as malting his vocals and, everything is singular. Too busy thinking about my baby, ain't got time for nothing. Just one voice. Heard it through the grapevine. It's just one voice. This is the first time that he's stacking the vocals and doing this crazy stuff. And Barry is like, dude, you're throwing your career away. We spent all this time turning you into a superstar sex symbol, and you trying to make political records. Barry did not want to be black in music.
Yep.
He wanted to be America in music.
Yep, you're right.
And Marvin, because of Marvin, we got Stevie, Music of My Mind, and Talking Book.
Yes.
And, we got all those other
Intervision. You're right. Yeah, that's a great point.
Intervision. We wouldn't have got those albums if we don't have Marvin Gaye doing What's Going On.
Yeah, that's still one of my all-time favorites. So, all right, so you guys
the number one.
I know you're constantly out on tour. So are you going to be coming to East Coast anytime soon? You got some dates you want to share with us?
Yeah. Well, we hope, because, normally we really stay in the Midwest and the West Coast.
Okay.
But now with this record, because we're picking up Saginaw, Michigan, and South Carolina. So I'm sure we'll be in North Carolina in a minute.
Yeah, well, we're right here in Charleston, South Carolina. So we'll look for you when you come this way.
Yeah. So our record is playing, and the Carolinas have always been good. North and South Carolina, they always loved us and loved our music. Even when other people wasn't feeling us, the Carolinas felt us. So I think we'll this year. We'll start making our way back that way. We're looking forward to it. It's what we want to do. We want to play in places we haven't been to before in a long time.
Well, good. I've been here almost 2 decades. It'll be 19 years in about 4 weeks. So I know for a fact your music, they love you here. So I've been banging it since 2005. Like I say, we can still, turn out a joint, go old school, and throw that lean on me with that. What was the concept? I got to ask you. What was, because it was so different from the original, but it was so fly.
Well, because it was a combination of go-go and Caribbean.
Yes.
Because if you remember, BET after midnight would play all go-go videos.
Right, they would.
In the early iteration of BET. Mm-hmm. So Red and the Boys and all these different groups.
Chuck Brown,
and buy. And Chuck Brown, the Soul Search. We used to go out and buy all of those records. And so, so that's that whole go-go. So all we did was did go-go the way the West would do it on the West Coast. And that we be Jaman. Yeah. That came from being in the Bahamas. We went on vacation in the Bahamas, and so it was a combination of go-go and Caribbean flavor.
All right. Well,
And we just kept the melody that Bill Withers. We didn't disrupt his melody.
No, you didn't. And that was the amazing
just
thing
set it
about
up.
it, because it had that melody,
Yeah.
but you had that beat, that backbeat. I was like, and you couldn't help but your body, even if you didn't want to, your body was just gonna move anyway. That beat was infectious.
Yeah.
You couldn't stay still. So that worked out. Did you guys have any idea that record was gonna be as big as it was?
No. And to be honest, and black radio didn't make it big. Pop radio.
No, that's
did.
true. I worked at a CHR station, so that's why I know you're right.
Yeah. Black radio came and got it because pop radio took off of it.
Yeah, they did. And it's very, it is, trust me, I've been in radio and TV, radio for over 3 decades, especially in the 90s, late 80s, early 90s. That was hard to do. Usually, you know, you had to really establish yourself on black radio, and then pop would finally get a hold to it. But yeah, you all did it. So y'all were trailblazers. You were trailblazers in a lot of different. We kind of carved your own path, and still on that path. So congratulations to that.
Thank you. So how do you like the new single?
I like it. As a matter of fact, so I'm not just the host, I'm the executive producer. So I'm producing my show. I talked to your team member. I said, get me the MP4 of It's All Right. So it will be in rotation on this TV show, and I'll be bumping it and jamming it. So y'all get me that MP4, and you'll get to see it all this week right here on the Geno Jones Show. Y'all will love it. So, but I'm a big fan of yours. Second time, man, that you've been kind enough to come on the show. I always love the conversations. You are a student of this music game. Everybody's not a student. I know I don't need to tell you that, but that's probably one of the reasons that you are still relevant and doing your thing after all the 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s, 2020s.
Yeah.
And still black don't crack. Still, you're still looking good there, player. So keep doing what you're doing.
I'll tell these lines in my face then.
Hey, wait, that's all right. You know, we all got now. Them little lines is nothing compared to some other cultures. They don't have lines. They look like prunes. So you're a long way from that, player. Keep on doing that. That melanin is activated. It's gonna do what it's got to do. Listen, Jay King, I appreciate you. I let everybody know where they can follow you on social media, where they can get information about tours. They can download this single. It's All Right. Now, so you guys plan, because you're talking about every 5 or 6 months. So how many singles do you plan to release in 2024?
Well, it's according to if this single, so I was talking to Ken Wilson, who's working radio for us. And Ken said, Jay, this record could last 6 months. So if this record lasted 6 months, as soon as this record died down, I would release a second single.
Okay.
And then as soon as that single died down, I'm going to release a third single. As soon as that single died down, I'll release a fourth single. And then I'll release an album. If I know that we have that there's a desire to hear a full-length album from us, then I'll do that.
Okay, I was going to ask you about that. I know now the trend in a lot of cases is a lot of these artists, like I know for various reasons, they're not really doing albums or even EPs. They're just releasing single after single.
Because people aren't interested in albums, so you got to change with the market.
Yeah, you do.
So when I hear, artists that are in my age group talk about the music business, how bad it is and what's wrong with it, I tell them, I say, man, I know what's wrong with the music business. Y'all old. You guys are dating. They sound like the old guys that were around when we started, and because we were using drum machines and keyboards, and we weren't using bass guitars to make bass sound, or guitars to make guitar sounds, but we were using keyboards and drum machines, and they hated what we were doing because they got old. So I don't want to get old. I listen to music. I buy music. I love Anderson .Paak. I'm a super duper Anderson .Paak fan. I love Snow Allegra. I love her and Giveon. So I'm listening to today's music, and Joyce Wright. There's a lot of great music out there.
No, I agree.
So
And I'm glad you mentioned that. Let me shout out, because I was talking about the Grammys earlier. Let me shout out SZA. She did get a Grammy, and she did I thought she was great. She did her performance of Kill Bill and Snooze. She got it for R&B songwriting. Her and Face. I didn't know Face was collaborating on that, but it's Babyface. So shout out to her, and shout out to Victoria Monet. She had a really touching.
Sacramento.
Yeah, really? Okay. I don't know if you got a chance to see her acceptance speech, but it was really, it was definitely from the heart, and it was touching. She said the irony is that she won the Best New Artist Award, but she had been in L.A. just like a seed, just planted in the soil, and it took 15 years for that seed to...
Yeah, she's out there in 2009, 2010. She's out writing records with people. But it took her that long to develop into an artist.
Yeah, and she talked about that. It was heartfelt. It was emotional.
It's a tough game. It's a tough game. You got to love the music. For me, this time around, it's exciting for me for a few reasons. Number one, when I went the first time when I did Rumors and Lean on Me and all that stuff, I was so entrenched in the business, I never got a chance to enjoy it as an artist. Now that I know the game, I enjoy the fact. First of all, I'm honored that a song that I would write, that young people and people today will accept it. But I also, have two new members that have been with me for 3 years, and this is their first recording. And so for them in their first recording to be the #1 most added record at radio,
wow,
their first time out, for them to watch the beginning of a hit record become a hit record, and then for me to watch them watch how their lives will change because they have a hit record is really exciting, because I get to tell them, hey, you guys, you got to get your feet planted on the ground, because this thing will blast off on you, and you'll be tripping on yourself. Your ego will get out of control, because everything and everybody around you will change because you got to hit record.
Yeah. And you've seen it all.
Oh, yeah.
So that's great advice.
Yeah.
They're lucky to have a mentor and somebody to kind of give them that guidance and direction. And it's cool. Listen, I'm giving you props, and I ain't just blowing smoke because you're on the show. I always keep it 1,000. My motto here is what my grandmother taught me, one of the many pearls of wisdom. She said, Jeannie, tell the truth, shame the devil, and the truth needs no defense. But I believe in giving credit and kudos and respect when it's due. I have no problem with that. The fact that you're willing to not just share the stage literally in terms of a stage, but in terms of putting young brothers and sisters up on game, putting them in a position, sharing your stardom and success and wisdom. Everybody don't do that now, Jay. Some folks is insecure, and then they feel threatened. Like you said, they the old dude. Get off, Sonny boy. Get off my lawn. That kind of cat.
No, I want all the young people to happen, so I can say, I knew him, I knew her, and believe it or not, oftentimes those people will keep you in the game because they remember how you treated them when they were in the beginning. Listen, and my mama said, if what you do make you who you are, you ain't ish. And
that part, right?
And she said, if you're helping people, you don't have to say it. They will. If you saying you're helping people, it's because you puffing yourself up. You ain't trying to help nobody. You're just trying to puff yourself up. So, and I've helped a lot of people, and I know it because of the way they've treated me, the way they've kept me in the game. You say, how can I be relevant so many years later? It's because so many people that I helped along the way at some point in time came back and pulled me up a little further, because I didn't say I helped him and I helped her and I helped them, and I just helped people because that's what I would hope somebody would do.
Right, and that's who you are, Jay. That's in your heart. I'm wired the same way. I tell people I don't keep receipts like that. I keep different kind of receipts when it comes to facts and being accurate, but in terms of as my mother tells me, who's watching me right now, she would say, Jenny, when you allow yourself to be a vessel, because we're all vessels, whether we want to acknowledge it or not, we are all vessels, and you are a perfect example. Just the receipts, the catalog, the track record of success, the wisdom, everything you've seen and experienced, the fact that you're willing to share that with those that you feel that you want to share it with, to kind of light their torch. When you allow yourself to be a vessel to bless other people, my mother always says, she said, your blessings will come down like raindrops from heaven, because you're doing it for the right reason. You're not doing it like you said. I'm not looking for no praise and no, I don't need a trophy or an award. If it's on my heart to help you, I'm gonna help you, and that's it. You don't owe me nothing. You don't even have to say thank you. I'm just gonna keep moving, because I didn't do it to thank you. I did it because it was on my heart. So I respect that. I respect that, Jay. Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, congratulations. Once again, it's all right, everybody. If you haven't downloaded the single, shame on you. What the hell you waiting on? Get busy. Jay, let everybody know what they can download.
You know, you can download it on Amazon, iTunes. You can stream it on Pandora, on Spotify, anywhere you do music. You can go to YouTube right now and type in Club Nouveau, Nouveau, Club Nouveau, Nouveau. Type in It's All Right. The video come up, and leave a comment. Let us know what you think about it. Share it, and download it. Help us make this record a hit.
And I'm going to do my part, because Jay's team is going to send me that MP4. It will be on rotation.
I think we already sent it to you.
I love it. I love it. There you go. So it will be, you will see, if you haven't seen it, you will get to see the new single. It's all right. You all listen.
Okay, so you want us to send you the video?
Yeah, send me the MP4 of the video.
Okay, so
I'll put it in rotation on my TV show. Yeah, because this is my media company. I don't own the other media company, but this is mine, so I get to run it the way I want to run it. And you listen, you know all about ownership. It's a good thing, because you're not going to fire yourself.
No, sir.
Not at all. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the music icon, legend, and just an overall good dude, J. King, Club Nouveau. Thank you, brother. May God continue to bless and have favor on you. Continue success. And when you come to South Carolina, you come to Charleston or near Charleston, holler at your man. I'll make sure I'll hook up, because I'd love to see you guys.
Make sure I get your number. Give me your number so I can text you.
Don't worry.
And I'll text you one.
I will text you. Well, as a matter of fact, shout out to Angela. So I know your team's got she's got the number, but I'm going to text it to her again. Well, she got the text message.
What's your email address?
Yeah, so she's got it. And I'll make sure you got it, all the info you need. You got a permanent home here on the show. I told you that the last time. Ain't nothing changed. Yes, I appreciate you. I'm like you. You know, these young brothers and sisters keep me young. So I'm like, let's keep it. Hey, Smokey is doing his thing at what, 80?
Oh, man.
283?
282, yeah. All I want Smokey to do is to edit some of them dances. That's all. Some of them dances.
Hey, you know, I just love it, man. Like I said, Black Don't Crack. I love to see him. Look, I love Ron Isley. That is my dude. I said, when I really grow up, when I hit 80, I want to have that swag like Ron Isley. Because even the young girls, even though he married, I hear the young girls like, ooh, Ron Isley, he get it. I love him some Ron Isley. That is my dude. Shout out to Charlie Wilson. He just had his birthday last Monday, a week ago today. He turned 70, and he got his star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. 71, actually. And so happy birthday to Uncle Charlie doing his thing. J. King, man, love and respect. We appreciate you. We'll see you back. So when you drop the second single, we're going to run it back.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. That's the EP.
Thank you. Thank you, brother.
That's the MP4.
All right.
Oh, okay.
That's my man, J. King. Thank you, Jay. Appreciate you. Let me just do that there. Good dude. I love having Jay on the show. Keeps it 1,000, keeps it real. Like you said, he's helped a lot of people. Thank you for letting me be a part of your life. Shout out to everybody watching me live. Hello, Mama Pam. Hey, how are you? And of course, my number one fan and my co-executive producer, my mother. I love you, Mother. I'll talk to you shortly. Thank you for watching, everybody. And thank you for letting me be a part of your life. As always, God bless each and every one of you, And especially you, God, most of all, thank you for letting me do the Geno Jones Show live Monday through Friday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. in Chicago, or maybe in Memphis or Houston or Dallas and New Orleans, Central Time, up in Milwaukee. 3:30 p.m. on the West Coast, out in the Bay Area where my man Jay King is, or out in Los Angeles, up in Seattle or Portland, Oregon, where my firstborn daughter, who's got a birthday a week from today. Happy birthday early, Boogie. Daddy loves you so, so much. Shout out to Mr. Markel Bailey, the official barber and hairstylist for the Geno Jones Show. He is the CEO of Designer Cuts. It's not a barber shop. It is a barbering palace. Brand new location, Charleston, South Carolina Metro, Goose Creek, South Carolina. So check him out and his work. He's an artiste, an artist. Check him out and his cuts and his work, his art on Instagram, Kel B Cutting Up, KELBECUTTINUP, Kel B Cutting Up. Allie Jones, the official wardrobe consultant and stylist for the Geno Jones Show. I call her the Drip Director. You can check her and her collection. She's a fashion designer. Check her out at lx.ncl underscore is that little dash at the end of lx.ncl underscore on Instagram. And KLB Cutting Up on Instagram also. The official barber and hairstylist for the Geno Jones Show on Instagram. Kel, KELBECUTTINUP. Allie Jones on Instagram. Wardrobe consultant, the official wardrobe consultant, the official fashion designer, stylist, the official stylist for the Geno Jones Show. lx.ncl underscore dash at the bottom below on Instagram. The next live edition of the Geno Jones Show is going to be Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern. If you missed any episode, especially last week was fire. The monologues were fire, and we did a very special Saturday show. It was the Democratic primary election here in South Carolina. President Joe Biden, congratulations, got like 96% of the vote of all those who voted in the Democratic primary. Y'all need to stop playing. Stop playing. Just look at my monologue from last Thursday and Friday. That's all I got to say. Just watch it. Just watch the last 15 minutes of last Friday's show. That was February 2nd, 2-2. But if you want to hear the conversation I had Saturday with the chairman of the Democratic National Committee, Jamie Harrison, we had one of those conversations you have in a barber shop, and all the brothers or sisters having a hair salon. It was that kind of conversation. We had one of them brothers in the barber shops conversation, so you really want to check it out. That was on Saturday, very special Saturday edition, because normally we only do a show live Monday through Friday, but Saturday was special. We had a presidential Democratic primary, so we wanted to make sure that everybody got out and voted. Thank you for watching, everybody. We'll see you live Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, but go back and binge watch any of this episode if you missed it, and binge watch all my back episodes. Subscribe, share, screen grab, create a viral moment on TikTok, on Twitter or X, on Instagram, on Threads, on Facebook, or create a YouTube short right here. Subscribe, share, screen grab, like, and binge watch all those back episodes. We'll see you live Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 Chicago, 3:30 p.m. LA. I love you. Thanks for watching. And we'll have the brand new video, Jay King, his new single, It's All Right, right here.
Subscribe and tune in to the next episode of The Geno Jones Show, exclusively right here on YouTube.